Now, here's the great thing about success is you only fail when you stop trying, right? A lot of people don't think of that. They're like, oh man, I failed at this. I never said I was going to stop as an entrepreneur. I just had to adjust and say, okay, I need to do something different for a while. Kind of, it's okay to pad my pockets a little bit right now and go get a job, but do something that I like to do in the meantime. I will never work anywhere that I do not enjoy what I do, because I feel that life is short.
It is.
And I don't want to waste my time.
All right, welcome guys to Houston Inside Out. I am your host, James J. And I am excited today to have my man, Mr. S.A. Sola. What's up, my brother?
What's up? What's up? How you doing, man?
I am doing great, man. It is so good to finally get you on here.
Thank you.
We have I've been trying to make this happen for a little while, and schedule just hasn't worked out. But you are here now, and I am excited, and I know the story that you have will provide some value and some good insight for people that are maybe looking at doing, maybe, because I know you are a big entrepreneur at heart. That is what you love to do.
Yes, sir.
And so you are in real estate, you're a sales consultant.
Yes.
You are a perfumer. Am I saying it correctly?
Yes, you are.
Okay. All right. You are the only perfumer I know. Personally anyway, and we're going to talk about this because this is an interesting story for sure.
Absolutely.
You are a father of two wonderful girls, wife, Marty, and so for people, I want people to kind of understand. So you and I, gosh, we probably known each other, what, nine to 10 years? That's crazy.
Man, yes. Look how time flies.
So you started, well, I guess we met back in the day. You worked for a banking establishment that
yes, I did.
I have my my business account with. That's how we met.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
And
I was your business banker.
As soon as I met you, as soon as I met you, you're just one of those people. You meet, you like, I like this dude.
Man,
immediately.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
And that's
so
true.
much,
I'm not just BS. Like,
thank you.
So
man.
We have been in touch over the years. We've done some business together and so forth. And so we're going to get into. So we're going to kind of start. Actually, you'll kind of start back into kind of your journey from the banking days to where you are today, and then we're definitely got to get into the perfumer and your passion project for sure.
Yes,
I think that is one of the things that is really, really interesting about you. So,
absolutely.
So kind of let's take it back a little ways to the banking days, or maybe even before that, like how you even got into the banking, which is I know it's a little while, but I want to kind of understand your story and your journey and where you are today. So
all right, let's go. Well, thanks again, James, for having me. All right, I'll start here. So sales was where I started. I started cellular sales back in the day. I don't know if you guys remember, there was a little company called Nextel Communications back in the day.
Absolutely, yeah.
And so I started, that was like my first true like sales job. And I think what I enjoyed about it was just the opportunity to meet a lot of people, to make like lasting bonds, but then also to, obviously be able to take care of myself. I didn't have a family at the time, didn't have a wife or kids.
Right.
And it's just the kind of networking aspect and able to like, freely like truly take care of yourself financially. I love that about Nextel. I think the training course was like one of the best. And I said I wasn't going to mention any companies, but Nextel is actually non-existent anymore.
Right.
So that's the only, that's the only company that I actually mentioned.
Right.
Bridging into that, obviously I stayed in telecommunications for a very long time. I went through several different companies. I stayed at one, which is a huge provider, for a while. Learned a lot over there just from the people, from the management staff, and I think it ran its course.
Right.
And we've all been in businesses before where we're like excited, we're making great money, things are great, but then you hit that what? That ceiling.
Absolutely.
And that ceiling could be anything from the amount that you make yearly, or it could be from a promotional standpoint. You're just at a ceiling, you're at a standstill.
Yep. And
I think I kind of found myself, it's funny. I probably never told this story again, so you're about to get a huge exclusive, Jen.
All right. Good.
So what happened, I ended up, I was young. I met my girlfriend, who's my wife now, at the time. And I think I was going through a lot where I was tired of doing the same thing, and I prematurely quit. Just quit my job out of the blue, and that was a very crazy thing to do at the time. To just go ahead and say, you know what, I am gonna go ahead and just be absolutely done and move on with my life. Sorry, I'm moving kind of like
that's all good
connection, so I'm trying to move and navigate. Okay,
it's all good.
So hold on 1 second. Hold on.
Okay.
So so what I ended up doing was I ended up quitting a job prematurely and just said, you know what can I do? Where can I go next? What industry could I possibly go into next? And I just was jobless for about a year, 2 years.
Oh, wow. You really?
Yeah.
So now let me get this straight. So you weren't married at the time when this was going on?
No.
Okay.
Actually, I wasn't married, but Mari was pregnant.
Okay.
My wife was pregnant at the time, but we weren't married. So we got married the year after she had the baby. So can you imagine having a baby on the way, quitting a job just because I was at my peak. I was like, okay, it's a done deal. I'm tired of this industry. I want to do something different. But then to jump out on a leap of faith and not actually have something to do. Yeah. So I like this because I preface this to say, you don't know what you're good at until you try everything.
Yeah. Sometimes you just gotta just burn the bridges. I mean, you really do. And again, your situation and other people that may be looking at doing something similar, if there's something, they're in a job they just don't like and they want to go do something else, they may not be able to do that. At the same time, I always encourage people like, dude, like when is a good time? When? It's kind of like having babies, like same thing, right? Yes. Ideally you'd like to have certain things in place, but I don't know when the right time is.
There's no right time.
You figure it out. You do.
There's none.
You have kids
as you go.
Figure it out. There's no manual.
Yes.
So for you to take that leap of faith is awesome, and obviously it worked out. So I'll let you go ahead and finish. So
all right.
Left the job.
So I won't say it even worked out. I wouldn't say it worked out. I think what ended up happening, and okay, I'm a little bit of a maverick, so in case I'm moving around or whatever, I do better like talking and moving. By the way.
Okay, that's cool.
So I don't say it was actually it worked out. I think what happened was I just adjusted.
Yeah.
I adjusted in life, and when I say like everything happens for a reason, it does.
Yeah.
Right.
I believe that. Absolutely.
Like you said, you can't plan anything. So what I did was I went to different industries. I failed at all of them, and I believe in failing forward.
Yeah.
So I failed so many times that I actually was a professional at failing.
Yeah.
And that's the craziest thing to say, right? But like I now know in my path of doing different things, I could tell when something's gonna fail and when it might pop off. And you can't learn that until you failed so many times that you know the blueprint of failure. And the most successful people have failed so much. So
no doubt, no question about it. Yeah, and they talk about it too. Like all the successful. I mean, we see the successful whatever company that they created but we don't see all the stuff they did before that never panned out. And so it's just kind of like it's like shooting in the gym. You don't see none of the practice stuff. You just see him on the court. He's good. So, well, you won't see him in the middle of the night shooting jumpers. Same thing with business. It's that failure. You got to put it in perspective. It's not, everything's just not going to work out. It'd be nice if we all could just do it and immediately work out. So I've had my share of failures too. So that's a great lesson to be learned. So go ahead with go ahead.
So I continued failing. And then at a point I just said, you know what? Starting these businesses prematurely I might not be ready to be an entrepreneur yet. And that was probably one of the hardest pills for somebody who's entrepreneurial driven, right? Yeah. To be able to sit there and say, you know what? This entrepreneur thing might not be for me right now. Right. Now, here's the great thing about success is you only fail when you stop trying, right? A lot of people don't think of that. They're like, oh man, I failed at this. I never said I was going to stop as an entrepreneur. I just had to adjust and say, okay, I need to do something different for a while. Kind of, it's okay to pad my pockets a little bit right now and go get a job, but do something that I like to do in the meantime. I will never work anywhere that I do not enjoy what I do, because I feel that life is short.
It is.
And I don't want to waste my time. So I ended up getting into banking because I was like, you know what? I think I'm good at finances. I think I'm good at that time, I wasn't good at my finances, but I think I was good at, I was good at helping others, because I knew the blueprint of failure, right? I knew about credit, knew about how to help you get a credit card, build your credit, or start a business, open up a business account, do the whole nine. So I said, okay, I think I could do this. And I think I have reach and enough, I lived in Michigan at the time. I had enough clout to be able to manage all the people from telecommunications that I helped, right, to get them over to this banking institution to either open up their personal accounts, open up their business accounts, or help them with like their mortgages, refinances. 2008 had just happened, the downturn had just happened, so rates were still high. So there's a lot of streamlined refinances going on. So I saw a little niche, and I was like, okay, banking could work for me. Went into banking, did that for a while. Thanks to God and just sheer like grit every day, just working hard. I got promoted pretty quick, and then I got transferred to San Antonio, which is where I met you.
Absolutely. And when we met immediately, I already knew. I mean, you just meet some people, you kind of know, like, this is just not this is not where you're going to stay. So at the banking, I mean, as much conversations that we had, I knew you were destined. I knew the entrepreneur. I could see it in you, your attitude, the way you communicate with people, the way people just gravitate to you. So it's very, very clear that was where you're destined to be. And I've had to do the same thing, where it's kind of like you got to take something temporarily. You got a family. I get it. You got to do something to pursue. But ultimately, you know what you want to be and where you want to go.
You do. And I just think, learning is paramount. Like in everything, whether it be entrepreneurship, whether it be getting a job, you have to learn something from that situation. And I think the best thing that I learned in banking, I learned how to deepen relationships, because now you're dealing with people with some people great money, some people that don't have any money, and you have to be somewhat that, and I hate to use this term, but chameleon, to be able to deal with different types of people in order to not only take care of them but advance your life as well. So I try to learn from every job that I ever had. I try to take something from it, add it to my repertoire, and then get back on the track of being an entrepreneur, because that has always been my forefront. I believe in being sovereign, right? I believe in being free, but in that same freedom, being able to to help others, but also do what I want to do. I cannot do anything that I'm not happy. I know that about myself. I know that for a fact. Me just having a regular 9-to-5 will never work. Anyone that hires me or anybody that I work for has to understand who I am. I will bring value to your establishment, but I have to also, I could play within your parameters, but I have to play within mine as well. And, so I did banking for a while, and then I did the same thing. I hit that ceiling, and then I quit. And I quit. And and this is leading into the perfume story. I remember there was a guy, his name is Raymond Beltran. He's out there somewhere. Raymond, if you're watching and you're in San Antonio, Houston, wherever you are these days, he was the guy. He asked me one question one day, and I still remember to this day. And one day I'm going to meet him again. I haven't seen him since 2013 maybe. But, he asked me one question, and he was talking about his passion. And he said he wanted to own his own restaurant or something like that, which at the time I was thinking of doing that too. But then he said, you don't even cook, man. Like, he's like, well, what do you like to do? Like, if you could do something every day and not get paid $1 for it, what would you do? And the backstory to everything I just spoke about, from telecommunications to banking to now being in real estate, there was one thing that I've always liked. I always liked fashion, but not just fashion in its sense, but I liked the things that everybody didn't think about fashion. Everybody wears a suit. Anyone can wear a pair of jeans. Anybody can wear sneakers. But the essence of what people smell like always intrigued me since I was a little kid. I was the guy that would like take different fragrances, the name brands we all know, Calvin Klein and and I would layer them and try to turn them into different scents. And I wouldn't spray them on like crazy, right? But I would little subtly layer them and try to have a different fragrance come from there, you know, which is a cheap way to do it, right? But
and this is as a kid you were doing this.
As a kid, I was doing it. I kid you not. My dad used to have Hugo Boss back in like the 80s.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
And like I would take like his Hugo Boss, and I would take like my mom's like lavender oils and stuff that she had, and I would try to create these other little scents that come from them.
Right.
You know, and I don't think I've ever told that story either.
No,
so you're getting a lot of exclusives.
I did not know.
Right.
We've never actually talked about how you actually got into this. So this is good. This is good information. So go ahead.
Right. So I would just, try these little things out, and then they seem to work, And I said, you know what? When Raymond asked me that question, I said, man, I was joking at the time. I said, man, honestly, man, I'm going to make my own perfumes. That's what I would do. I would just make my own perfumes and make my own fragrances for men, women, for kids. Yeah, it would be great. And I was kidding. I kid you not. This was like 2000 and I believe it was 2011 September.
Okay.
It was 2011 September because I actually have a fragrance, another exclusive. I have a fragrance coming out saying "Remember September." It's coming out in June. So, 2011 September, he says that, and I go, huh. He asked me a question right after that. I'm thinking, as we're talking, he goes, well, why not? Why not just make your own fragrance company? And that look that you have on your face, James, is the same look I said to myself.
Right.
I said, why not? And I kid you, us entrepreneurs, you know how we are.
Right.
We'll build a business in an hour.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
As soon as it lit that fire, I said, And I started doing research, and then I'm just going down the rabbit hole, right? Learning, going. And I'm like, I can actually do this.
Yeah.
So that was 2011. And I want to say this really quick. I quit banking in 2013.
Okay.
But I kept it close to my heart what I was building.
Yeah.
Before I quit.
Yeah.
So that was the part of the story I didn't tell is I had that aha moment, right? 2 years before I actually quit. And what I did was I built on that.
Yeah.
And a lot of people just kind of jump out on a limb and want to do stuff and just do it, which I'm one of them. And that was one of the failing forward tactics that I learned. I said, I could tell me constantly jumping out on a limb equals to me failing and setting me back. So now I have to be a little bit more calculated in what I do. And I waited and I kept that all to myself. And at the opportune moment, I went ahead and I quit. And then I still failed because I went overseas for a while. A lot of people didn't even know. I lived in France for a while. I was gone.
Yeah, I know you travel a lot, and so I didn't realize you were living there. But
yes,
you travel all the time anyway. So to
yes.
me, it's like, oh, you're just in another country again.
Parts of the secret. Parts of the secret. So people always thought that I was just gone because Mari was here. I had my kids, so I'd be back and forth. But I was overseas. I was in Italy and I was in France learning perfumery, right? And a lot of people are just like, "What? He's here," and I really wasn't, but it's part of those things that I've learned that before I unwrap a gift to the world, I have to enjoy that gift for myself.
So you got to break this down. So, okay, you go to France and Italy. First of all, why France and Italy, number one? And secondly, who did you go, like, who were you, was somebody mentoring you? Is that what took you over there? And how did you connect with that person?
So another cool story, right? So there's these big companies, and I'll name their names. It's okay. Firmenich and Symrise. They're some of the biggest names in perfumery, and they're actually out of New York. So what I would do was, the first time I tried, I love this. I love that you asked me this. 2011, while doing my research, I called up one of those companies. I'm not going to say which one because I got denied, right? I called them up and I said, hey guys, I would really, really love to, work with you guys. What would it take? And they basically were like, what's your budget? Like first it took about 3 months to even get somebody on the phone. Funny enough, I just get a text message right now from my buddy at Symrise. How crazy is that? It came up on my screen. Crazy. But anyway, so I get I talk to them. It's 3 months in, finally get somebody on the phone, and they tell me, your budget has to be 250 grand or so. And at that time, they weren't taking on new projects. I don't have $250,000. I'm thinking making perfume cannot really be that expensive.
Right.
But I learned that now everything's done in bulk in huge quantities. So I hit a roadblock. I dealt with some little local companies, some in LA, some in other places, and obviously got gypped, which that's another form of failing. I failed a lot.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I had to learn through the process. A lot of people out there take advantage of somebody that's new to the industry.
Yeah.
So I got used a lot. And then how I ended up with a perfumer out of New York that actually invited me. He loved my energy. And for whatever reason, I was like, man, thank you so much. And he was like, I'm going to help you out. And I'm going to connect you in Nice, France, south of France. I'm going to connect you with 2 perfumers out there that actually there are master perfumers, and they make all of our fragrances in New York. And you can go out there and study from them. So I went out there, learned from them a little bit, and it was a good time. It was like a mentorship program kind of a way. They're making fragrances for other brands, but I get to actually sit in with them and learn through the process. That was in France. So in Italy, while in France, I met other perfumers that have their own local brands, and they're out of Italy and Spain and all these places. And I was like, okay, you know what? So I actually went to Tuscany. With a local perfumer that had his own brand in Neiman Marcus, and I had seen his brand before, and I'm like, man, this guy I know for sure isn't paying $250,000-$300,000. How is he doing smaller quantities and able to manufacture them and still distribute them in the United States? Okay. And so I went there I said, hey, I called him up and I said, hey man, I'd love to come out to Italy, spend a month or 2 with you guys, and just see how we can just network. And that turned into another thing. And that's how I learned, like, just networking with people you don't know until you ask. And all this, when you hit a roadblock with these big companies, there's people in those big companies that can see your passion and see your drive and see you as the future, that will hold you by the hand and say, you know what, you're an authentic person. I'm going to walk with you and I'm going to help you. But you can't quit. You got to keep trying to find those people. And that's how I ended up overseas.
And let me ask you this. So I'm assuming everyone spoke English? Because it was
no.
Okay, so that's my question to you. So how do you just go to France? And I've been to France and Paris. How do you just go over there and have a mentorship? How does that work?
So some people speak English, and
and I know
and I had a translator actually. So
wow,
it's so funny even right now, and this is another exclusive I'm going to give you. So I'm working with Ramon Monegal in Spain, Barcelona, and that's why I've been to Spain a few times this year, back and forth. And
one of my favorite places, by the way.
Amazing.
Barcelona
place.
Is awesome. So
the city. Yeah. So Ramon Monegal is one of the biggest perfumers in Spain right now, in Barcelona, and he speaks no English whatsoever, but his children speak English. Right. So in order, what I've been able to maneuver in all these different countries, whether it be the Emirates, whether it be Spain, I always link to the person that can speak the language. Right. And they're my interpreter, like, hey, you're with me the whole day. And it's just cool that Ramon's kids, I love those guys. Shout out Oscar, Laura, Hector. You guys are amazing. I love you guys if you're watching. They're just awesome people, and they've helped me with building my new brand that's launching June 1st. And their dad is just an awesome, awesome perfumer, smart man, speaks no English, but man, the way that he composes these fragrances, I feel if I fully can learn from him these next couple of years, I want to kind of take that torch and take this whole perfume game to a new level.
So this is like such an important lesson here, Sola. So you take this passion and run, you are full force engaged in every way, shape, or form. And so let me back up real quick. So the person that introduced you to the people out in France, you met that person where? That was
at Simrise and Firmenich.
That was in
so that was in New York.
New York. But how did you connect to them?
So John Lando, who actually just texted me while we were talking, John Lando used to work for Simrise. He was one of the people in Simrise that his upper heads had turned me down.
Okay.
When I reached out before, I reached out to two companies, Simrise and Firmenich.
Right.
John, for whatever reason, I don't know, I got in touch with him through his secretary.
Okay.
I don't even know how that, I can't remember how we connected. Yeah. And we talked on the phone, and at first it was like a dry conversation, but for whatever reason, he still said, come to New York and meet me. So I went and I met them in New York, and the rest is history. Me and John have been working together. John Londo, love you, man. Been working together. He held my hand through it, introduced me to so many people. He's actually working, so I have 5 fragrances coming out in June. He's working on actually one of them in conjunction with Ramon Monegal. And man, it's going to be an amazing summer.
So this is just you randomly calling 2 companies now. They have no idea who you are. You just had the gall to pick up the phone and call and say, hey, introduce yourself, and basically got turned down. But because you initiated it, you met him. Yeah. So I will say this. Initiation is key. Yes. And I love, I don't know if you listen to Gary Vee. I love that guy. Yes. Gary Vee is amazing. And he says something that's true. It's true because he says, don't ever fake it till you make it. And it's true. And I'll tell you why really quick. When I got those phone calls, I was faking it till I made it. I sounded super important. I, had my company. I'm sending them emails like it's my secretary sending a company. That was the only way that I knew able to kind of get in and connect. Yeah. But the moment that they found out that I was just like a rookie, everything that I built got dismantled. I probably would have got further just saying, hey, I'm a new guy. I'm an entrepreneur. And just being authentic and real. But in this society, we don't do that. Everybody wants to look like they're doing greater than they're actually doing. So I failed so much when I probably would have had 3 or 4 releases in way more time if I was just upfront and honest and said, hey, look, I don't know what I'm doing. I want to learn from somebody. But then, you just got to be your authentic self. Be authentic, be real, and reach out to people. Initiate contact. But while initiating, be authentic. Don't fake it till you make it, because you will fail doing that. Yeah. No, I want to drive this point home, because a lot of people would not even have the gall to pick up a phone, and people don't have no clue who you are. And you're calling these big companies. But again, that led to one connection, who then led to another connection. Yes. And then it just kind of spirals. It does. And so here you are now, what, 8 years or so later? It's going to be 8 years. Yeah. 8 years. June of this year. So let's talk about what you got. So you got coming out this year in June. Yeah. June 1st. First of all, let's let people know the name of your fragrance, number 1. The Nostalgia Collection is the parent company. I've released 3 different lines. The first one was Le Nostalgia. The second one was the Memoirs line. So it was Mémoire du Voyage, Mémoire de l'amour, Mémoire du temps. And then now those are my French lines, because obviously I wanted to sound, because I wanted to, French just sounds sexy. It just sounds sexy, right? And you live there for a while, and next thing you know, you're coming home and you're just feeling a different way. I don't know. It's a beautiful place. Yeah. But I say that to say June 1st is probably my most authentic brand, because the brand is just named after me, Sola. And it's my journey through perfumery, without the frou-frou, without the France, the Dubais, all of those kind of, quote unquote luxury things that we deem as luxury. Right. I really think that in 2018, I learned to just live my most authentic self. And if that being whatever that translates to people, it will connect with the right people. I truly believe in when you find your tribe, you find your tribe. So June 1st, the Nostalgia Collection is the name of my parent brand, and Sola is the brand that I'm releasing. And it's going to be 5 themed fragrances based on my love for perfumery. And one of the other things that you mentioned, Gary Vee, I do a lot of, I watch Ed Milet a lot, who's another entrepreneur, motivational guy. He's got some ties to Tony Robbins. My point is, they talk a lot about your reticular activating system, right? Yeah. And so there's a point. So you've put this out there, what it is that you're interested in, your passion. And as you start, starting, things just start to pop up. They connect. This person. They connect. It's just the best analogy I give to people is like when you buy a car and then you see the car everywhere.
Yes.
Right.
Isn't that amazing? Like, I'm serious.
True.
It's a form of the law of attraction.
Yeah,
But
exactly,
it's
exactly.
so
So
weird.
I'm a firm believer in it, but you put it out there, something that you wanted to do, and that just led to this, that led to this, and it's just,
Yes.
you are 8 years later, you've got three fragrances coming out in June this year, 2019, right?
Yeah, I got 5 coming out, so I'm on my 3rd line. So what I do is I do capsule lines. So under the Nostalgia Collection project, I create brands, fragrance brands underneath them, because nostalgia. The reason the company is actually called Nostalgia, a little, I talk about the first time I experienced fragrance was in the '80s, and for whatever, I'm an '80s baby. For whatever reason, I have a tie to nostalgic. Like this feeling of nostalgia just resonates with me so much, because sometimes I sit down and think of the '90s. How awesome would it be to just experience the '90s all over again? So I try to translate. The easiest way for me to explain my brand is putting memories in a bottle. That's it. And memories could be my experiences. It could be experiences that we all experience as a collective. My goal is to bottle experiences, bottle time, put it literally in a bottle, and just store away. And that could be, me trying to be, a frou-frou perfumer in France and not knowing anything about perfumery, but then I still took something from it, and some good came from it, and I bottle that in there, and that's Mémoire du Voyage, which translates to memories of travel,
Yeah.
And, that's all I want to do. Yeah. That's all I want to do.
So ultimately, 5 coming out this year. So how will people be able to get Nostalgia? First, that's a good question. Is it just just online, or do we kind of?
No. So right now I was in select 18 stores. The last release, actually in Houston, Sloan Hall, right off of Westheimer. They're actually a nice boutique. They carried memoirs. So right now I'm going to be expanding to way more boutiques, but I'm also going to be online at thenostalgiacollection.com. We have a landing page up right now. You guys can go on there, thenostalgiacollection.com, and actually save that to favorites. My Instagram profile is Nostalgia Collection. That's NOSTALGIA, the word collection with no S, Nostalgia Collection. And just follow me, man. And the thing about it is, I'm the one doing all my posts. I'm the one doing all the interacting.
Right.
I think this year we'll definitely get our followership up. I want to be able to say that I built a brand from ground up. I mean, to be an African-American man saying that you want to own a fragrance collection is the most impossible feat that I think I've ever dabbled in. And a lot of people are like, well, what's so impossible about it? Like, really, there is not one Black perfumer out there. I'm the only one. And I'm not saying that in a braggadocious way. I'm saying that all the fragrances you see out there, like the P. Diddy and all of those, they're all owned by parent companies, and it's just marketing contracts. That's it. So to truly learn the concept, to have us as a unit represented in what it is to be, a fashion designer, and fashion being creating alchemist, creating perfumery. We have to be represented in every aspect of the world. And I think perfumery, which might not be, an aspect that people really think is important.
Absolutely,
I think I'm laying the groundwork for the little kids that aren't even born yet, that are African American or that are, African in other countries, that really love perfumery. Or the young men that can't even say they love perfumery because they think it's kind of like weird. It's perfume for women, like,
No, that is a great. This is great. Like, I've met a lot of people that did a lot of things that I wouldn't ever think about as a business. Like I said, you are the only person that I know. And it is one of those businesses that maybe people don't think. It's a huge business, for sure.
It's a $1 trillion business. No one thinks about it. Every Christmas, every Valentine's, every Thanksgiving, the most given gift is
perfume or fragrance. Yeah, that makes sense. So the fact that you are doing what you're doing it's like, dude, I love this story. I really do. And I love the passion behind it, and the fact that you stayed on it and stayed consistent over the years, because it's real easy. And especially for you, being an African-American man in that business, it could probably be really easy for you to be like, you know what, man, it's
not going to work. Let me just quit. And that kind of leads me into what we were talking about earlier before we came on. I believe in reaching your zenith. And when you reach your zenith, to me, I always, you noticed, I probably do planning a little bit different than a lot of people because I learned how to fail. I structure my zenith years 2 years before they happen. I believe my zenith year is 2020.
Okay.
And as I'll define what a zenith year means to me. A zenith year is one of those years where everything you do kind of goes your way.
Yeah.
And it could be I believe it'd be multidimensional. We've sat here and talked about nothing but fragrance for a very long time, but I do way more than that. And fragrance is my passion project. And I feel everyone needs to have their passion project because we all have regular 9-to-5s and things like that. And life can be so mundane, but I believe in having your passion project and setting it up a year to 2 years before and doing the hard work in the times where nobody knows it exists, that when that zenith year comes, it's like the Midas touch. Whatever you touch turns to gold. And from that fragrance, from somebody smelling my fragrance and enjoying it, it could open up so many other doors in whatever avenues that they're in. So I truly believe in, like really digging at your passion project constantly and working and tilling away for 2 years, like really sweat, blood, and tears for 1 to 2 years, that when your zenith year comes, well, that same thing that you sweat at is going to open up. Every one little thing can open up 50 different doors where you can just live in abundance. And that's what I'm doing right now.
Yeah. So the overnight success
does not happen.
An overnight success. I mean,
forget about it.
Everybody, again, a lot of people, they just see the after, where people just don't see what it took to get to a certain level. And for most people that are super, super successful, we don't see anything that they did behind the scenes. And so it looks like they were an overnight success. Even some musicians, right? They just come out of the blue and we're like, comedians, they just came out of the blue. No, they've been hustling for years. You just didn't know. You just didn't know
people's couches. Yeah. I love Kevin Hart's story. Kevin Hart, we watched him in so many movies. He probably didn't get paid for them, sleeping on people's couches, probably doing stand-up and like hole in the walls. And then he's, in Jumanji and stuff like that. And we're like, oh my God, he's Kevin Hart. Well, 20 years ago, he was doing the same thing, just wasn't up there.
Right. Yeah, I mean, Soul, everybody forgets Soul playing.
Yeah. What was that, 2004?
It was a long time ago.
That's a long time ago.
It's one of those movies, like, it's funny, but it's like, people forget that. But he's at a whole nother level right now. Level. Even before Soul playing, there was Kevin Hart. Nobody knew about him. He was still a comedian. And it's like, I believe that with every success, the stuff behind the scenes, you just don't see it. So you're at that point, you've been hustling and working for years now, have not given up. And I completely believe you will get to that zenith. There's no doubt in my mind, because I know you. I know how you work. And I remember,
I want to say something really quick. I want to thank you too, because I remember when I was, you probably don't remember. I remember when, before I got a distribution deal for memoirs, I was literally I spent so much money on creating memoirs, and the packaging, the fragrance, it was all on point, but I didn't have any distribution. So even though I went to France, I built a brand fully made in France, right? I didn't have distribution, and I was selling that, driving to people's homes. And you bought 2 from me. You met me in Tomball. You met me in Tomball.
I did, yeah.
And you bought 2. And that was 2014, 5 years ago.
Yeah, crazy.
Thank you, James. Crazy.
But like I said, when people meet you, they'll understand the energy that you bring. And so I'm not surprised whatsoever. And I know when you get to be, world famous,
Amen.
I won't be shocked whatsoever. So a couple more things. So I know you had mentioned earlier, we had kind of talked about, I've seen some of your videos, and you slimmed down quite a bit. So what have you been doing? And this has been going on this is not a New Year's necessary. You've been doing it for the last, I guess, few months now. Okay. All right. So
I look at people like you yourself, I see you're always constantly in the gym. You do the cycle classes at Lifetime. Kudos to that. I don't think I can hang. I'm sorry.
Yes, you can.
You know,
You can.
I don't know.
Sure,
I
you
don't
can.
know. But in April, I probably last year April I was my heaviest. I think I was around 220 pounds.
Okay.
And I went to my brother's wedding. My brother got married April 8th, actually, in Houston. And man, those pictures came back, and and I never was really. I was always, pudgy here. After you have kids, you eat so much,
Right.
and and I had never really seen myself in a photo because I've always had all these polished photos while I was building nostalgia, and you filter them and they look great. And just seeing the non-filtered photo, I looked like a penguin in that tuxedo. I looked like the penguin off of Batman Returns. It was terrible.
Okay.
And the feeling was like, I remember waking up because he had a 3-day wedding in Africa. In African culture, Nigerian culture, we have a 3-day wedding.
Right.
And I got up the next day and I went to the gym in the hotel because we were staying in the hotel of the wedding, and I just started running. I started working out. I said, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
And I actually went vegan for about 2.5 months. I'm on and off vegan, just because I like meat, but it's the only thing that's worked for me to make me drop weight. Right.
Yeah.
So I just started watching what I eat. I'm very, very meticulous about, waking up in the morning. I'll usually, have a shake, stay hydrated, drink as much water as I can.
Yeah.
I just don't eat as much anymore. I eat more little by little throughout the day. And then, and I just work out. I make sure that I get my workout in, whether it be cardio, whether it be lifting weights. I'm not, I don't have a 6-pack or anything like that. I just want to look good in a suit.
You don't need a 6-pack necessarily, but
I
feel you. Yeah, the working out, and look, you need that energy, and the reality is what we put in our bodies.
Yes.
You end up either slowing yourself down or energizing yourself. That's what it does. It's that important.
It's that important.
The working out, it's great, but ultimately, what you're putting in your system, and look, you need that energy to work the way you work. Yes. I know how much you travel, like you need that energy. So it's good that you did that and disciplined enough to keep yourself eating right and working out. Yeah, and it's hard, especially when traveling like you do.
Oh, big time. And I tell a lot of people, like, man, what I've learned is like Nike, like when I say the word Nike, just do it. That is what I wake up every morning and I'm just like Nike, not Nike the brand, Nike the slogan, just do it. You don't know what you can do until you just do it, and for me, losing weight and trying to just be healthier, even though I'm not at this, I'm in my tilling of that too. Like my zenith year for my workout will probably be 2020, because then I'll really see the fruits of my labor, but at least I'm seeing some type of change right now. And I just feel like you just have to, whatever in life you want to do, whether it be lose weight, eat healthy, get closer to God, have a stronger family unit, build a business, you just got to wake up and just decide. Yeah. The hardest part is deciding. Have you ever met people that they say they want to, everybody wants $1 million. Everybody wants to build a business. Everybody wants to be a supermodel and look good. Yeah. But then they spend so much time actually planning that thing out than just acting on it. The hardest thing is just act on it.
Yeah, I've got a lot of mentors that talk about imperfect action. Like people are because the procrastination is just stalling. I need it to be perfect. That's BS.
No, it's total nonsense.
Imperfect action is the way to go. It is. Just start. And you did it. You like I said, you started 9 years ago with that phone call.
Yeah.
That's it. You make a phone call. Nobody has a clue who you are. You make a phone call.
Yeah.
But again, that phone call led you to one person who led you to another, and it just connects. So, just start. Imperfect. Yeah. It doesn't have to be perfect. Even with like my podcast, same thing. Like, I've never done a podcast before, but I started.
You started.
Learn, and then I study other people now when it comes to podcasting. Real estate, same thing. Same thing for me as far as my real estate business and career. Yes. I started. I wanted to have a bunch of rental properties. That was my goal when I first got into real estate.
Right.
Probably 2-3 years. I'm like, I should. And then finally, I'm like, screw it. Let's do it. And I just bought them.
Just did it.
And I made some mistakes.
You will.
I made a lot of mistakes at first, but I learned. And so, but yeah, imperfect action. I cannot emphasize that enough. People just do it.
Even just do it. And even on time, sorry to cut you off, but even on that, it's just like when you said just starting, right? You learn. I feel that I learn better from my mistakes than others.
Yeah,
it would be great to learn from other people's mistakes, but until I'm in it myself and I actually fail at it, then I assess the damage and say, all right, this is where I went wrong. This is why I failed at this. How can I tweak this? Is it worth continuing?
Yeah.
Do I need to exit right now, or do I tweak some things and I can actually have a level of success? But again, you just got to jump into it. It's like, how do you learn how to swim, right? They say the best way is someone just pushes you in, sink or swim, right?
That's right. Unfortunately, that's how I learned. And I almost drowned, and my sister did not want to come get me.
Oh my God! But you're here. But you're here now.
Story. But so, all right. So we got nostalgia. So go ahead. What's the best? We're going to give out the your social media again.
Yes.
I'm going to post it so people can reach out to you and follow you. June 2019. That's when the first one's coming out. Okay.
June 1st, 2019. I'm releasing all 5 together.
Okay.
All 5 fragrances. Cool. Yeah. So they're going to be 100 ml bottles and 50 ml bottles. I will be giving out that first week. I'm going to have a lot of free samples like I did on the last one. So we released chapters 1 and 2. I believe it was last year, and I gave out a bunch of free samples. I'm going to be doing that same thing again. I believe that I'm not the type of business person that wants people buying my product that don't believe in it. I'm going to give you a sample for you to say, okay, you know what? I think this would work for my skin. Fragrance is very different. It's not about just, hey, that's a cool perfume, put it on there. It's the alchemy and how it resonates with your skin. Everyone's skin is different. So a lot of people just go out and buy the same fragrance. You ever smell one person and you're like, hey, that smells good. And then you go buy that fragrance, it smells terrible on you.
Right.
This is why I create a full line for different types of people's skin autonomy and see, okay, remember September might not work for you. 1237 might work for you. Because for me, florals don't do good on my body. I just rose and all of that, it just doesn't work for me. Citruses do better on my skin. And I think more of the education piece of what fragrance means to me, to be able to show you that and also give you a great product, I believe sampling is key. So yes, please follow me. Instagram, I'm Nostalgia Collection. That is NOSTALGIA, the word collection, all in one word, Nostalgia Collection. And then on Facebook, it's going to be the THE, Nostalgia Collection. I have a Facebook page there as well. I believe that this summer is going to be the summer for people to really know what I bring as a perfumer to the table. I think that I'm just a regular guy. I'm a regular guy that has a passion for fragrance, and I want to share it with the world, and I think that with just the authenticity that I bring to the game of perfumery, I'm not doing these frou-frou commercials where there's a lady running in sand and, those are all cool, but that has nothing to do with fragrance. Fragrance should be your individual feeling of how a fragrance speaks to you. And it's part of your fashion piece that speaks to others as well. Yeah. And that's what I want to bring to the world of perfumery. So follow me on Instagram, follow me on Facebook. I would love to connect with you guys. I definitely follow back too. And it'll be great.
I will make sure that I get everything posted. We'll shoot it out to everybody. Social media, you guys follow Sola. I will have everything posted. All your Instagram, Facebook, all that stuff. I'll make sure people reach out to you and follow the journey.
Thank you so much.
This brother is amazing. Support him. He's in an industry where not many people look like he does.
That is true.
And really, and just, I will support you with whatever you need.
Thank you,
I appreciate you, and we will do this again. So maybe, once we get around that time frame, we can come back and we'll talk again.
Let's do it.
If you got something to update, I'll be here to help you. So
let's do it.
I appreciate it, brother.
Thank you, James. You have always been an amazing person. I thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. And I know that, man, we're going to cross paths again in business and real estate and something. I've learned so much from you. And, man, it's a long time, man. I've learned so much from you, man.
It's crazy.
And you just meet those people that you just connect with. And, brother, I look up to you every day. I see the beautiful things that you're doing with your family, what you're doing with health and helping people kind of, inspire them to these cycle classes, real estate-wise. Like, you are truly a multi-dimensional man. And I truly say that 2019 is the year for the multi-dimensional man. And I feel that, like Gary Vee says, I'm going to steal from him real quick, so many people are vanilla and chocolate.
Yeah.
You could be birthday cake remix, right? Yeah.
I like that. Yeah.
Let's go.
That's good. I love it. I received that and thank you. And we will connect again, man. So, all right, man. Well, you take care. We will catch up. We'll catch up soon. And
thank
good
you,
luck
James.
with everything. I'm here to support.
I appreciate you, man. You are the man. Thank you, brother.
All right, Sola. All right, brother.
All right, bye-bye.
Catch up soon.
All right, bye.